Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Jeff. That's Jesse.
Hey, hey, hey.
AJ is on the phone in the booth.
Oh, hi, ring ring.
And this is the BTF podcast. We have a very special guest, the lovely, talented, and always a great time. So much fun every time she's on talking to her. I just have a blast with you, Sara. Sara Coates, welcome.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. You told me that I had to introduce myself. So
Yeah, for people who don't know who you are, I think
people who don't know,
I think a lot of people do, but
which is lovely. But who knows?
Yeah.
My name is Sara Coates. I am an actor, a voiceover artist, and a performance capture. I was in Resident Evil 7 and 8, like Jesse, and I was also on the sci-fi show Z Nation as Pie Girl. And then I do a lot of little things as well. And I'm a horror fan. I love horror movies, and I'm a French Bulldog enthusiast.
Favorite horror movie?
The It miniseries, original, Tim Curry. I used to rent it every weekend from Blockbuster. And was truly in love with all of the kids and wanted that adventure as a kid. I was always like searching for like a wooded area that I could like find. Yes, the Losers Club. We all float down here too. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like their really clubhouse they had in the original.
I can't. And you know what? I really did like the remake.
The remake,
part
yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm. Part one, when they were all the amazing. Kids. Yeah, the adults was probably a little bit of a letdown, but it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it, but I also think that's the Stephen King thing too, where the ending of the book, which I've read, is not. It's insane. It's crazy. He was on cocaine when he wrote it, so it's just like madness, and so it's hard to translate that madness into film. And I mean, I loved every second of it. I actually went to see Aaron LaPlante, who was the Duke in Resident Evil 8, and I've been friends since high school, and we would talk about horror movies in French class in high school. And when the It remake came out, we saw it together, and it was truly the most fun. I have a video I have to send you of him screaming in the theater. It's just wonderful. But yeah, we've been horror connected for a long time.
So Sara, just as an actor, just knowing what my life, was like, do you think that fed a lot into you wanting to become an actor?
Absolutely.
Like you just see those kids and like you say how bad you wanted that to happen. And it's like, I know when I was a kid, I'd watch I watched a film and I so desperately wanted to live out that scenario. But obviously part of me knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like the It doesn't exist. So the next best thing is you go and be in the movies.
Yeah, right. Go play pretend.
Well, and it's that thing like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's how I wanted to do everything. I wanted to try everything. And the only way to really do that is, by being an actor in one way or another. But then you get typecast and then you do the same thing over and over again.
Right. Then
but it's like, like you'd say, do you say that? Do you say like the It franchise, like do you say that's a huge reason you're an actor today?
Yeah, I would say
like in other interviews and stuff, or
I haven't said it because no one's really asked that question.
Well,
so
Jesse's
I think
here.
Right. Thanks, Jesse.
Hey. That's what I'm here for. Hey. I always wanted to be the Fonz. I always had a dream that I'd go and I'd punch a soda machine and it would just work. And I'd be like, hey. And I was like, but I'm never going to be able to do that in real life.
But you might be able to do it on TV. Yeah, I truly think it was a lot of the horror movies I watched growing up and just seeing, I just have always liked heightened reality.
Right.
And I think that everyday life is, can be boring and monotonous. And then being able to step inside of, and I've always been like a highly emotional person. And I think that just kind of welcomed that job in a way.
Yeah, it certainly gives us a place to go. I know what you mean in that regard. Like, thank God for acting, in a lot of ways. It lets us continue to be our weird selves,
Yes.
And not saying that anyone else can't with whatever they do, but for whatever reason, this just, it worked out.
It worked out.
You can't be like crunching numbers somewhere and then pretend you're an astronaut for, a couple hours. You might get fired for that. So
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have. And I've had while being an actor, I've had every other job too, because sometimes you can't sustain yourself doing it. That's the downside. And so I've, worked in many offices. I've worked at coffee and luckily I've hit a point now where it's acting is what I do to make ends meet. But I also found I kind of loved the study of people.
Mhm.
And like the biggest character study of my life is I worked in a law office that served process servers.
Oh, wow.
And just those
Yeah.
people that had worked there for 30, 40 years, wildly crazy people. Like I went on a couple calls with a process server just to see how his job went. And just, he was the biggest character I've ever met.
Right.
His locks on his doors were little skeletons. I couldn't open my door. I texted my boyfriend at the time. I was like, I may die here today. Here's where I am. So it's just kind of like the study of people as well. And
Right.
I think that's fascinating.
And that's like the secret ammunition we get as actors. You know, it's like my life experience and all the weirdos and the shit that I've come across that I get to use in my work and that no one else knows about but me, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great stuff.
Starting out, before we get into the meat of your career, talking about the beginning, and you're talking about that struggle of balancing, trying to be an actor with making money in order to pay the bills.
Jesus.
What was that like? I mean, what were those struggles?
Well, I went to theater school at the University of Washington, and I remember my friend Reed had done a commercial. So I'd worked since I was 14 or 15 years old. Like I worked at Baskin Robbins, then Starbucks, then espresso stands, and lots of like that kind of stuff always too. I didn't really have the family that was like, here, go to college. It was more like scrambling to just do something.
Right.
And I had a friend that I went to grad school with that did a commercial, and he dressed up as a pickle in the commercial and made like tens of thousands of dollars. And I was like,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can do that.
tell me more about this. And he was the first person that actually got me in touch with an agent because I'd done theater forever. And I thought that was going to be my life. I thought I was going to have a job and then do theater at community theaters or like run a theater or just fully be immersed in theater somehow and make the little money you can. And then I was introduced to this agent and realized that in certain times in certain jobs you can make a lot of money and be like doing something as stupid as dressing up like a pickle for a Super Bowl commercial. I was like, this is bullshit, put me in, coach.
I will do that.
And you know, it's sad sometimes and it's exhausting because you're working, you know, a full-time job, and then acting is also a full-time job. And so say then you're also in a play and that's a full-time job. So in my 20s, it was an exhausting experience, but I'd always thought there's nothing I do better than this. So why am I attempting to create careers at like a law office or all these other places that don't feed me emotionally and mentally and these acting things do? You know, and then you stumble upon other things. Like I stumbled into voiceover, motion capture. It really wasn't anything I ever intended to do. But then you go to these auditions and you meet these people and you know, groups get put together and magic happens. And then you have kind of a career in motion capture. And then like we were talking about earlier, then you go into helping with casting because you become friends with the producer. So I think anywhere in this world of creative creation, you know, and whatever that translates into and whatever that turns into, be it podcasting, be it, you know, that kind of stuff. It's you just have to be able to adapt. And I think the best actors can adapt and are flexible and malleable and can change in situations.
Right.
And you kind of have to translate that into your personal life as well, because you're always on, which, you know, can be good or bad.
I want to just make a point too, you know, and ask you about this a little bit, to talk about what you made about adapting. You know, like I always thought to myself, like, you know, early on I was fortunate enough to be like, I got to be malleable. You know what I mean? Like if I'm an actor, I'm getting directed all the time, which means I have to be somewhat like a Play-Doh, you know, like I got to be malleable, but not just in my work, but in any scenario. Like, you know, you're going to come across difficult people. You're going to come across all kinds of weird shit. Sometimes people are going to have a really good idea that they're trying to communicate and they're not going to quite know how to communicate it. And you got to be malleable and make it work. Like there's all these things. And anyway, so back to what I was about to go on a tangent here, but you're adapting is what I was about to what I really wanted to ask is like, how do you feel as an actor coming in this accelerated technological world? Like how we're even having a podcast right now. Like this is not something that like two actors would be doing like where it's totally normal for us to hit you up and go, hey, Sarah, we're doing this podcast, and now you're coming. It's like, this was not a normal thing. 10 years ago? You know what I mean?
Ago. Like podcasts were normal 5 years ago, but when now you can
Everyone
put something out, everyone can,
Right.
Which it's interesting because I love it. But then also there's part of me, like, I have a TikTok, but I don't really make anything. And I love watching these kids' TikToks that are really funny, but there comes a point where it's exhausting.
Right.
And creating so much of my own content becomes, I then start to not like it because I love
That's kind of like a social media burnout.
Yeah.
Yes, you burned out.
Yep.
And I enjoy showing myself. Like I love going on social media and showing Ruben and like my skeleton that I love and that kind of stuff.
You have a good social media way.
It just because I'm self-deprecating, I don't give a shit. And I want people to feel comfortable where I am. It's very low curation. If you go through any picture of my social media, I am either making fun of myself or quoting some stupid horror movie.
Or it's a picture of Ruben.
Yes, it's a picture of Ruben because that's all that matters.
Right.
I live for those posts.
Yeah.
Thank you. When you were saying be malleable, it's so interesting. And because I was in the casting room and have known Jesse for years, but when we were casting Resident Evil 8, he's one of the greatest at taking a note and giving you something on the other side of the spectrum of what he just did. And it's almost kind of like a masterclass in watching someone just go big, and whatever you give him, he's going to take it and just make it something that you never could.
Thanks.
Oh, there's the freeze.
Hold for it.
Read with Jesse because
damn it, I was enjoying that.
Yeah, hang on. You froze.
I was really liking this part of the podcast.
Is my internet being stupid? I'm sorry.
It freezes for like 3 or 4 seconds, then it comes back.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Doing my best.
My shit's just as bad, if not worse.
Oh my god. I was complimenting Jesse.
Yeah, and I like hearing this because you worked on, obviously, because you casted something I auditioned for. So now I'm really interested in what you're gonna say here.
Well, it was just Jesse takes notes really well, but someone can take a note and make a subtle change, and it's great. But he takes these notes and he changes it into something that you didn't expect, and then there's no other choice for the character.
Right.
So because you'll give people notes and they'll do the same thing. So you're giving people the same notes, they do the same thing. Then you give Jesse the note and he just does something wildly crazy. And then you go, well, there's no other choice now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially where like Monroe, it's like this. Like,
yeah. And it's crazy.
Monster.
On the Jesse train here. It's still impressive to me to be talking with you, and we'll go into like discussing your character, and you just slip into that character like for a second. Like when you go into Lucas' voice, it always like it throws me off because I'm talking to you, but then I hear Lucas and I'm like, oh, okay. It's like
this guy does it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, well, you know what? I really appreciate you guys, especially from you, Sarah, especially from all of you guys, but Sarah's such a talented actor, and I've looked up to her a lot. So hearing that's very heartwarming for my soul. But also, to bring it back, like Sarah, what is the key things like as an actor? Like, what are your key things nowadays, and has it changed in the years you've been acting? Like I would say, like growing up, like I used to, like, it was all about committing to character, and I was all about that. And now as I get older, for me, it's more about focus. Like I really want to be focused when I'm in a scene so that I can feel like I'm able to do anything, right? Like I'm not worried about anything. I'm singular and focused. And I'm just wondering, like, if you care to share some of your, like as you've progressed, like, what are the things that like you hold on to as an actor that are the most important to you? You feel like you use when you're doing auditions and then when you're playing parts and stuff?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I like to be easy to work with. I like to be available. I like to be on top of it. I like to be fully prepared, and to, not that anyone would regret hiring me, but when I get to set, they're like, and so a lot of my second jobs come from someone going, oh, Sarah can do it, because she did it on the day.
Yeah.
And then also, I think this has helped a lot, is separating the stress of acting from my everyday life and not letting it like fester into my everyday existence, because it's constant failures, and I wouldn't call them failures, but constant no's, constant auditions. And seeing the TV shows that you've auditioned for, the characters that you have auditioned for, and not letting it get to you, and then also rooting for other people and helping other people has been a big thing in the last couple of years. Like because I hope that comes back to me. I want to make sure people get gigs, work good, and have fun, and I feel a sense of pride when I can bring someone in and then they can shine. Yeah. So and then I like when you said focus too. I think it's really important that it kind of goes hand in hand with being prepared. I just think, opportunities are few and far between. So when you are focused and you get the opportunity to be focused, because you don't get those opportunities all the time, why would you show up not prepared? Right. It's crazy to me. So, and even we do a lot of self-tapes now because of the pandemic. So you're doing these auditions at home, and I try and make it as similar to an audition experience as well, and not try and hit perfection, but hit my best at the moment. Right. Because when you're at home, you could spend, this is my audition wall, I could spend hours attempting to get this NCIS job, and just really be like, here's 500 takes. I give myself 4. Right. 5 max. Right. And because I prepared before. Yep. Instead of just being like, oh, I have the sides, what are they? And like frustrating myself. And that comes through. Yep. So I think of just being prepared. I think it's the most important.
So let me ask you one more question. In person or self-tape, what do you prefer?
I think I am a very charming person. So I love to go into a room and I love meeting people, and I love the energy of that, because even I just did a Zoom callback for a movie, and it was a lot of the movie is improvised, and it has some really big improvisers in the movie. And so it was chemistry reading with some of them. And as funny as it was and how much fun we had, you're like, well, who's it? Yeah. Wait. And then, and you're doing these bits, and it's coming across, but
you also wish you could be there because you would crush the energy.
I miss it. Yeah. I do like pre-reads, which for those who don't know, it's like the audition that doesn't go to the producers yet. It goes first to the casting director. And I do like doing those at home, because there's no reason to drive an hour, 2 hours in LA traffic or New York traffic.
Exactly.
Right. It saves a lot of time.
I know. It's like, I'll send you a tape, and then if you want me in for the callback, I'll come in.
I'll fly there if you want.
Exactly. Kind of, but the tape, you can figure out whether you want me for the callback.
It's just a taste.
And that's kind of the way things are going with voiceover too. I think, those first reads now are all going to be in motion capture over, the internet now, which I think is okay. But I miss being in person, baby. I was going into that room, being sweaty in the pits, just ready to rock and roll.
I'd cast you if I was ever reading something. No.
And speaking of casting, I just got to put it out there because I seen Sarah's post, the Buffy post on Twitter that she made.
Oh, of me looking like, wait, what?
Yes.
Of me and Sarah Jessica or Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yes.
Yep. I just want to put it out there. Sarah for the Buffy reboot. Come on.
Oh yeah, please.
Maybe the motion capture Buffy, but thank you. I didn't even know. I just got new headshots because that's a thing actors have to do. And after the pandemic, I was like, what's behind these eyes now? Who knows? She's died this last year. We'll see what happens. And I went to this woman, and she was incredible. And I just had that jacket. I didn't realize it was like a Buffy jacket until someone put it up for me. And I was like,
nailed it.
I seen that picture, and I was just like, come on, the only person who could play Sarah's place is Sarah.
Sarah. You guys are Buffy fans, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a huge Buffy fan.
Especially AJ, yeah.
Yes.
Same. Oh my gosh, that show they're in California. Oh, did I pause? Or you guys are
no, you're good.
It's like,
we're just enraptured.
Yeah.
Enraptured. In California, there is Torrance High School. And one of the first things I did when I moved here is go, because it's where they shot Buffy. It's where they shot She's All That. It's where they shot 90210. But mostly for me, it was Buffy. And so you can go into like the maid quad area with that staircase.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like sneak in. So we would go all the time. And like pack a lunch and like eat where Buffy is.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I did when I moved to Los Angeles is I went to where the Black Dahlia died. I went to see that scary Elisa Lam hotel where that girl was in the elevator.
Right.
That's such a weird situation.
Yes.
It's
Still
so
unsolved.
weird.
Yeah.
Don't watch the documentary.
Really? Yeah.
It's good.
Too late.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
It's a little like it's a little exploitative, right?
Yep.
It's exploitative, and it takes away any magic from like a haunted situation. Like any like creepy thing that I created was kind of just squashed.
Yeah.
It really bummed me out, but I digress. I'm into creepy things like that, so I went to Cielo Drive. Horrible Manson murders.
Yeah.
Those were my first stops in my LA tour.
You want to go to the Beverly Hills, you want to go to Hollywood Drive,
There's a lot of good
bodies found.
There's a lot of good
to see where the Black Dahlia was found.
LA's got a lot of good haunted little spots like that. You know what I mean? It's funny about Los Angeles. You don't think of it as a very old city, but it's got a lot of those kind of a lot of shit goes down in LA.
Yeah, it is a hub for all kinds of.
There we go, Ollie.
Yeah.
BTF ghost hunting.
Hey, I'm down. I am down.
Let's do it.
I will go ghost hunting.
Sarah, I would love to play Phasmophobia with you. Have you heard of Phasmophobia?
No.
It's a ghost hunting
What
game.
is it?
You're like a ghost hunting team. You go into these houses and you have all your EMP readers or EMF readers. You've got like all the stuff, the tools.
That thing that goes like this, that crosses.
Yep.
You've got everything. You have to go into this house and basically figure out what kind of spirit it is by investigating, and then hopefully get out of there before it kills you. So,
is it a video game?
It is. It's awesome.
Okay.
And it's a multiplayer game.
4-person co-op.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
There's a VR mode too, if you want to ever do it in VR. But
isn't it like randomized too, Ollie, where it's different every time?
Yeah, each map is different. The ghost is different. So there's I think maybe 6 or 7 different variations of ghosts, maybe up to 10. It's still being made too, which is cool.
Whoa.
How long does one? I'm going to call it campaign because of D&D, but like how long is one?
30 minutes maybe.
What?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
It's really
That's
not.
my problem with games like D&D and my brother.
Too long. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to anymore. Murder me, kill me.
40 hours.
Yeah, it's just
That'd be
too
fun.
long. But that sounds. I would play that. In
The BTF ghost hunting team.
Yes.
Yes.
I went to the Queen Mary for a birthday party a few years ago, and it is supposed to be a haunted ship here in like Long Beach.
Right.
And we went to they have a magic show, and what I believe were like ghost hunters / magicians. I don't really know, but they had us do this seance in this part of the boat.
Oh, cool.
Where they put this was crazy, and I am sure it was just chance, but who knows. They put headphones on one person, and the headphones were attached to a radio station that was like white noise that also would catch other radio stations, so words would come in.
Okay.
So your job, if you had this on and you were blindfolded, was to just say the words that came out of the station, while the ghost hunters were asking questions, or the people, like the couple of us that were there.
Right.
So we were asking questions, and we were like, how old are you? And immediately the person would go 12. It was crazy. And then like, are you happy? And that kind of stuff. And some questions weren't being answered, but when they were answered, it was question answer.
Yeah.
So the person blindfolded and in headphones had no clue what was going on. And then the other people asking questions, which it was just
creepy.
And I want to do it again.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I want to go there.
That sounds awesome.
And what is happening? And I mean, we did that for like 2 hours. It was just because people would go up, and one guy was very closed off and he didn't hear anything. And then the people that were a little more open were just
starting to pick up on
spirits.
Yep. Oh, so
someone
cool.
died in my house. Her name was Mary.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I just bought a house, and she.
Congrats.
Thank you. It felt very adult.
In California, of all places.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Like, do I live in South Central? I do, but it's an up and coming beautiful area, and I love my neighbors.
Are you close to Baldwin Hills?
Yeah.
So there you
Actually,
go.
very
There's a Krispy Kreme. There's a great theater out there. You know?
Yeah.
I love that
Like,
mall, that movie theater out there. That
yes,
big ass one,
it's
you know.
like 10 minutes away from my house.
Yeah, I love that place.
But when we were house hunting, every house I went into, I was like, did someone die here?
Yeah.
That was what I wanted to know. I was
What are
like,
the odds?
was it negative? But there was a woman, Mary, who died here 2 years before they sold the house.
Whoa.
But I don't feel her. I've tried to chat with her, and I told her just to be nice to Ruben, but I haven't felt her in
Be
my
nice to
home.
Ruben.
Yes.
Ruben
I was
the
like, are
sweetheart.
you? Yes.
So,
Or you will have trouble.
You believe it? Can we talk about it? You believe in ghosts? Obviously.
Okay.
or-
Okay. I love ghost movies. I love ghost shows. I think ghost hunting is fine. I don't know if I believe in someone being like, woo,
Yeah.
like coming back. Like if I died right now, I'd come back in the shirt and just like
Right.
haunt you forever. But I believe in energy,
Right.
and because if we're going to get real and deep here,
Please do.
my father passed, and most of his life was this mean, angry man. And that energy sticks around. So like the house I grew up in was just, even growing up when he was alive, was this like dark energy, this dark place. In the last few years of his life, he became my best friend and the nicest man in the world. And that energy changed. And so I believe if someone, dies in trauma, that energy still exists there. You've walked into a place and gone like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
So I believe in that kind of thing for sure.
Yeah. I have a story about that. I visited Tombstone several years ago, and we went on a ghost tour at night. If you've never been to Tombstone, I highly recommend it. It is an awesome experience. It's so cool.
Haven't been. I need to go.
The ghost tours are cool because there's a lot of history there. A lot of gunfights. A lot of people died. A lot of famous people died. Earp. Which Earp? Which was the
Wyatt?
Not Wyatt, the younger one. Virgil was the oldest. Morgan died there.
Morgan Earp.
Yeah. When they walk around, they show you these, and you're taking pictures, and they tell you to look at your pictures for the orbs. And they say the orb is not necessarily a spirit, but it's an energy, like you said. And you can actually sense and get a shot of an orb, or even a apparition of Wyatt, where Morgan was killed because of that traumatic moment in his life. It's like a piece of him was left behind. So, it's really interesting you described it like that.
Well, and then I believe people are really, when we're here existing, we have that person's memory with us, or like with my dad, the last few years were really lovely, and he was a pilot. And if I'm in a traumatic situation in my life or stressed or something, I will look in the sky and I'll just see the tail of a plane leaves a tail, but there's no plane. And so not that that's my dad saying like, hey, Sarah, but there is a part of me that thinks like I needed that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's comforting.
Yeah, it's comforting. Some people see like their parents come back as balloons. I don't know, as like butterflies, but I think it's just kind of that kind of thing. Do I wish that they existed creepily like that? Yes, I do. I wish that they would be like
aliens.
Didn't we just solve that? Didn't the government say there are aliens?
Yeah.
I
Did
guess.
they admit it?
Yeah, I know you have your Ruben, but we know another Ruben that's all about aliens.
Yeah.
Ruben Langdon.
Well, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
My mom and I had an alien experience.
No.
If you would like to hear it,
Please
I will
do.
give you the short version.
Give the long version.
I do have a recording of my mom talking about it because
wow.
my friends didn't believe me. And I said, Mom, I need you to record you talking about aliens. And she was like, okay, got it. When I was, I'm going to say 12, 13 in Washington State, my mom and I would go out on the same night, the night her sister passed away, because her sister said that I'm going to come back as a shooting star. And so the night she passed, her anniversary of her death, we would always lay on the back porch and sleep and watch the stars.
Wow.
And we'd always see shooting stars, but in Washington, there's shooting stars all the time. It's beautiful. Not a lot of ambient light in that area. And one night we were laying watching the stars, and we saw this bright light come, stop, and it lit up the entire, like our backyard and our neighbor's backyard, and just stayed there. And my mom and I could see, this is the weird part, we could see clearly our neighbor's backyard, and we could see, I remember vividly seeing the hose dripping water. and I could see like the drips of water slowly coming out of the hose. It was
Yeah.
just something I remembered, and the glistening grass, and then it disappeared and went away. And then my mom and I screamed and we ran inside.
Oh my
We woke
God.
up my dad. We were like, ah.
Oh,
So the next morning, we go outside to talk about it. And we had left our sleeping bags and our pillows and everything. And we went and laid on the sleeping bags and pillows. And we're sitting there and I go, we can't see into the neighbor's backyard. And she's like, what? And the deck was at a place in our backyard where there was no way we could have seen, and we ran up to the fence and we peeked over and you could see there's a hose there and you could see the backyard, but there was no way, as clear as day, the night before we could see everything. Did the fence disappear? Did the
Yeah,
aliens
right.
float us up so we could see into the backyard? Were we abducted? Do I have some sort of tracker in me now?
Yeah.
No one knows.
You don't know.
yeah.
We don't know. But then we screamed and ran it again because we were like, oh my God, we can't see the backyard.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Right?
So
Damn.
was I abducted by an alien? Yes.
Probably.
Nice.
Am I an alien being now in other Sarahs somewhere else? Probably.
Probably. Man, that's wild. I always wish
Yeah.
nothing like that's ever happened to me, but I sure wish it did.
I had an experience in high school when I was getting
tell me,
ready to
tell me.
join the Navy, and I lived out in the middle of the country, like 10 miles from town. My nearest neighbor is 2 miles away, surrounded by fields, which I loved up until I would have nights where I would have like anxiety attacks because, like, when I saw the movie Signs, and I'm surrounded by fields, you know.
That's me as
And I'm generally, I didn't like, my parents worked a lot, so I never really saw much. I was usually home by myself.
My dad's like Mel
Yeah.
Gibson.
Right? My dad's like, well, I guess it. But it would kind of freak me out. But this, besides the point. So I used to run to the end of the road where there's nobody at. It's about a 2-mile run and run back. I was getting ready for the military.
Yeah.
And when I would get my 2 miles, I would just lay down there. It was always usually around midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, because I like to run late. I'm like quiet.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, pure
And it was
quiet.
I know,
safe
I used to
too.
do
Like
that.
Yeah,
it's,
there's no one out there. No one's going down. It's a
Yeah.
dirt road. There's no reason to be there.
yeah, I did when I was younger too. You can't
yeah.
in the city, but
Oh yeah, and the stars are beautiful. There's thousands, millions of stars. That's all you see because there's no lights. There's no city lights. So I would lay at the end of the road and just look at the stars for about 30 minutes and kind of calm down, and then I'd run back. And I swear I saw a star that was too bright, way brighter than anything else, moving, stop, sit there for about 5 seconds, and just shoot, take off. It was gone, disappeared. And I've always figured like that was my closest thing I've ever seen to an alien. There's no way a shooting star would go and stop. No plane would go and stop and then just disappear. It was crazy.
Well, now they
It was
say that
me
there's.
Yeah.
and the alien. I was looking at
Yeah.
I
that
know
and
Sarah was
Yeah.
in there.
Right? She was on the ship. She's like, oh, hey.
We looked at the sky at the same time. We
Right.
saw each other.
Yeah, right?
I mean, they are saying in the news that the UAPs or whatever, the little tic tac thing. I mean, they're just, but who knows what that is? That could just be technology.
Yeah.
I'd like to. They believe it was aliens, but it's also like, I hate to be the that guy, but it's like there's so many other more plausible,
Yeah, plausible.
like some foreign technology that we're not
Yeah.
aware of yet. But I
Have
sure
you seen
hope
a
that-
drone?
Yeah.
I remember the
yeah.
first time I
I
saw a
know,
drone
right.
fly over a crowd. I was like,
Yeah.
I know.
what's happening?
But hey, if there were alien drones coming to check
This
on
is
us,
true.
but there's nobody in them, that would be
Little Tic
fun.
Tacs.
That'd be sick.
I don't know why they wouldn't be. If we had the technology, we have to assume that they had it a long time ago, right?
I know, right?
You know what? I like to live in ignorance and
Yeah.
just not know what's going on.
It's fun to believe it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
is.
Oh, for sure. And then also, what about, do you guys believe in cryptids or, Sasquatch, any
Oh,
other
yeah.
like creature that,
I think there's things that we haven't discovered, especially in
I
the
agree.
ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only discovered a small percent, barely even minuscule, like part of the ocean. That there's things down there that'll probably just freak us out.
the ocean terrifies
There are
me.
things that we
Even
know
go-
of now that are down there that freak us out. Ugly things.
Yeah.
The thing with the like,
Yeah, the
with
anglerfish.
yes, no, that's not for me.
Have you
Those
heard
things
the
are
theory-
from prehistoric days
That-
too. which is
well,
cool.
yeah. Have you heard the theory about like octopuses that there's a possibility that octopuses are technically aliens? Because like water, there's some theories that like water came to Earth when asteroid collided with it, that water was being carried onto Earth, and like so, and then the asteroid exploded, but it transferred its water into Earth, into the ravines, and at that time, no other the organisms that existed in that asteroid were octopus.
Okay.
So like octopus were aliens that were part of a that lived on an asteroid that
Octopi? Is it
Octopi?
octopi?
Yeah, I guess it's
more than one.
octopi.
Yeah, octopi.
Yeah,
I prefer octopuses.
A gaggle. A gaggle.
The octogaggles. Yeah,
Octogaggles.
the octopi, yeah.
A murder of octopus.
A murder of
A
octopus.
murder of octopus. Yeah, so there was a murder of octopus in the asteroid that got deposited onto Earth, and then so it's like you could. There's some theories out there that they are.
I'm gonna believe that.
Aliens.
Because that is
They
what
sure
for
are
me.
creepy. They sure are
Yeah,
creepy.
they are creepy.
They are.
Was it Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that said it was dolphins were aliens?
Yes, dolphins. were aliens.
They had to go back.
That's- made
This
me
Earth
so
was
happy.
They're
built for
like
destruction.
they're like almost sentient beings. Like it's almost
They're
like time,
smart.
right?
They are.
Like,
They're the golden retrievers of the sea.
Yeah,
They're so
like that,
sweet.
yeah.
we can
They
call
really
them
Yeah.
sentient. Like they have nicknames for each other, and
Chicken of
they
the
just
sea.
they don't want what we want in life. But I wonder do you think they contemplate consciousness? That's what I wonder.
Yes.
That's always an interesting. It'd be cool if we could ever like actually talk to our animals someday.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I
to
wonder
see
that.
what they're like. What are
Do
you
you think
thinking
Ruben, Sarah? Do you think Ruben contemplates his own existence?
Ruben and I have lived many lives together,
Right.
according to a
about?
psychic.
Yes.
I went to a psychic,
I
and she
believe
said
that.
that we've lived many lives together, and that normally he takes care of me. And so life is weird for him, and he doesn't know why Matt's here. He's like, "Who's this guy
Yeah,
with
that's
us? This life?"
It's just us right now.
Oh my god! I just had the
Um,
funniest idea.
It's truly, and like Ruben growls at Matt, but it's a loving growl. But it's always so funny because I'll be snuggling him, and Matt will come up, and he'll just be like,
No,
Yeah.
not your
Like,
time.
yes,
Walk
yes,
away.
So I think that Ruben definitely I think he just knows he has a good life. And I
Right.
think he's living every fucking second of it in joy. And I think he's so smart.
He's a happy
And he
potato.
remembers things. Yeah, he's a happy fat potato meatloaf gremlin.
It's so funny because now it's like I'm picturing like back in the, it's like you guys you pass along and then you guys are in your next life and he shows up looking like Fabio.
Yes,
like,
long,
yes.
beautiful hair. Just-
Finally back in my real form.
that Matt guy is gone.
Oh,
Thank
it's
God.
like-
Well, and the fact that like he ended up as a French bulldog
I
with
know,
this
like,
like,
what
like
Does he speak in a French accent, you think?
when I did get him, we played French music in the car just to make him feel
Just to make
more
him
at
feel
home.
more at home.
So like I was holding him and we played French music.
Aw.
I'm a crazy person, but
Oh,
It's
dogs
so
are
funny.
amazing. That would be a funny show. Actually, have you seen the show Wilford?
yes,
The
I
Australian and
loved
then the
that show.
American remake with Elijah Woods. God, I love that
Yes,
show
I've
so
only
much.
seen the American remake, but
it's great. I recommend it for anybody who wants that. Like, it's a very interesting show. I don't even know how to describe it, but if you were to take your pet dog and make it an actual person or a dog costume that spoke with an Aussie accent.
Yes,
you know?
that is the show.
Yeah, that
That
is.
is the
While
show.
Elijah Wood is the normal guy trying to live his life and have relationships, you've got this giant man dog that's just constantly
I'm
screwing
gonna
things
tell
up.
you that would be like a dream role
Right?
to play the dog.
yes,
It's like
that'd
to
be
just
awesome.
be this like
So great.
that's the kind of stuff. If you were to ask me like what would you want to do if you could do anything, weird creative TV like that, like
Yeah.
I think or like the show The Boys. I fucking
love
love
The
the show The
Boys.
So good,
Boys.
so good.
I'm friends with I went to school with and I'm buddies with Claudia who she's in the end of this season 2 and you find out she's a soup at the very end. She's kind of like
Oh,
the
yeah.
AOC
Oh yeah.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
we studied together and she's like a friend of mine. Like we
Ugh.
like studied together at Stella Adler for several
Yeah.
Oh,
years.
that's cool.
Yeah, she's a great actor. She's so funny too.
Yeah.
God, that makes me so happy. Like
Yeah,
shows
yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah. Oh god.
if I were to do anything, of course, or movies in the similar vein, that kind of stuff is my favorite. That's one thing about motion capture I really like is that you can play anybody.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you
auditioning
can
for a
absolutely.
blonde mom, which is
Right.
what I'm always auditioning for on TV and stuff. So, I can play a 6-year-old woman who turns into bugs or like
Right.
or a 16-year-old Barbie's best friend or like
Yeah.
it just
Right.
it allows you to do more. And so I think when there's creative ideas and creative casting, like someone playing a pet, like that is hilarious to
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we froze. Bring it back.
Hold that thought.
Counting.
putting into the atmosphere.
There she is. There she is.
There we go.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's fine.
Oh, don't
Oh,
worry about it. It's not really that bad.
No, it's only a couple seconds.
Hey Sarah, I wanted to ask that, get back on the acting stuff.
mhm.
I do want to know what it sounds like irreverence, like TV is what your dream is, right? Like to do something like that. That's like what's your dream role? Like what's your
Yeah. Let me think.
I have two
Let me
questions.
wrap
That's my first one.
Yeah, I love things that don't take themselves too seriously. But also touch on humanity. I'm a big fan of shows like this is a reality show, but like RuPaul's Drag Race. Huge fan because I love camp and I love heart. So I think mixing crazy, weird, quirky camp plus heart plus people who have felt like they don't fit in and kind of like putting that into a ball. Like I was saying, I love the boys. I love gore. I love horror. I'm not afraid to be ugly. So I like any goofy, weird. I love prosthetics. When I was in Z Nation, I was painted fully blue, and it was like the joy of my life. Like people were like, "I don't want to do it," and I was like, "Shake my head!" Like,
put everything.
Let's go there. Oh, and sitting in that chair for 2 hours, I was just like, da, 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 just getting painted blue. So happy. So those kind of things. I also really loved the show Fleabag.
That's great. I still love Fleabag.
She was so good in that, and
Such
to
good
show, yeah, right.
Yeah,
such good writing. So, I love shows like that. I think it would be irreverent comedy, weird, like something like Veep, something like Succession. And I also really like a strong ensemble cast because I love to work with people.
Yeah.
What was great about Resident Evil 7 is like Jesse, Jack and I spent so much time together, Giselle, and we got to work together and have fun. And
we were that was definitely ensemble.
Yeah, and it was fun, and that's rare. And so, because I don't know about you, Jesse, but when I book anything TV related, I'm usually co-star, guest star, so I don't get to do really the table read. And if I do, it's like quick in, quick out, besides Z Nation. So I like having a rehearsal. I like having a bond, because they're truly the strongest. So yeah.
I think your relationship that you guys have as a cast now speaks to the quality of the way that, like, working with Naveed and the whole cast and filming Seven. I think it really says a lot to the, how you guys created it, and just the success of that is also another representation of your hard work and your bond as a team.
Yeah, and trusting each other.
Yeah, trusting each other, a nice dynamic, a good friendship. So you understand, like, trust is the big thing there, because you're diving into these. Yeah, it's motion capture, but it's still a difficult role. It's very physical, and, guttural.
Completely exhausting. Yeah. Mentally, physically, like utilizing our vocal cords was just, I didn't realize how hard that was going to be.
Oh my God.
And all the screaming and all of the, I've told you before, it caused me to throw up a lot because I would be like, because you're using your chest voice, your, neck, throat voice, and your head voice. And it just would take me out the next day, but it was worth it because I really enjoyed everybody else. Everybody else was doing it, and we were all committed. That's what felt so cool.
Yeah.
We were all doing it.
I know. There's been a few times in my life where I got on a project and I found that all the actors were as committed as I was. Everyone was into it. They really wanted to, not because they were in a project, but just simply because whatever project they are in, they want to make it as good as possible.
Yes.
And those are all the projects I've done so far that I've done really well.
Right.
Like those did.
Because I've done some stinkers, let me tell you.
I got some things that I'll never see the light of day.
or that I will never see.
Right.
People will ask me, have you seen this movie you did? And I'm like, no, I will never see it. I also really love the show Search Party. I don't know if you've seen it. It's set in New York. It is wildly crazy and cracks me up so much. It's not my normal type of show. I like, a little more adventure, horror, gore kind of thing. But
I've been watching a ton of Arrested Development lately. Aliyah Shawkat, that woman, I don't know how to say her name, but
Aliyah Shawkat, I believe.
Shawkat, she's a lead in that. She's in that too.
She's good. It's just how horrible. Basically, the log line of the show would be like how entitled millennials cover up a murder.
Oh, great.
And so that's basically what it would be. So it's these highly characterized millennials covering up a murder. And
I gotta watch this one.
It's so
I would.
crazy.
There's two. Well, one's not active anymore, but one is still very active. Two shows I'd like to see you on. Obviously, American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
I've auditioned for it so many times.
I really hope you get on there. I would love to see you on
Really?
there.
How they have not put you on it yet?
Yeah.
American Horror Stories.
What are they fucking waiting for?
But here's the thing: is they keep bringing me in. So
Right.
will-
So they
yeah.
like you.
and
Hopefully, I'll see you on there.
yes, which is great. And so I always see what they're going for, and I go, I get it.
Soon. Yeah.
I want to hear what you're saying because it's
Yeah.
going to be great. But I don't know about you, Jesse, acting wise. Whenever I turn an audition in, I'm always like, no one is better. Like I'm like, I go, this is the greatest audition of my life. And if I don't get this, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
I've created that in my
You have to
brain.
be.
Which
I always
you
say,
have to.
yeah, I always say to my fiance, I was talking to Nanny when we talk about acting, I go, hey, look, you got to believe you're the greatest. Because put it this way, you're the only person in the world that believes that about yourself. At least one person has to believe that about you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like,
Way to look at it.
you know, and it's like, you don't have to be arrogant, but like, hey, you got to believe you're great. And
Yeah.
other people will believe you're great too in time.
Yes.
But at the very least, one person has to believe you're great if you want to make it. But it can be
Yes.
you. It can be you.
Okay. I see
Go
him.
read this book.
I
It's backwards, but the subtle art
Yeah.
of not giving a fuck.
love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love it. Buying it immediately. Okay.
Yes.
So American Horror Story.
Yeah, what
Yes.
was the
I will
second
get on
one?
that.
Yes.
I will call Ryan Murphy.
Please do.
today.
I hope really, because it's an active show, and I know you've been trying to get on there, and I feel like you're a perfect fit for it. I really hope to see you on there soon. The other one is Wild Hot American Summer.
Oh, Wet Hot American
Wet
Summer.
Hot American Summer. God, the cast on that is so great. And again, that's right within your comedy, like your natural, excited, and the personality would fit so well with that cast and in that whole spectrum.
Am I back? Am I
You're-
back?
There
You're
you
back.
are. Yeah, you're back.
I'm sorry. Wet Hot American Summer is
I love that show. It's so random.
David
And the
Wayne
cast.
is, I believe, the creator
Yeah, he is.
and director.
Yeah,
And
yes,
I
David
was
Wayne.
at Sundance in 2014, and I was in a movie, and it was like the biggest experience of my life at that time.
I
And
think I know it. I gotta remember the name of it, but I know
it's
what you're talking
Laggies.
about.
The movie's called Laggies.
Yeah, Laggies.
I was opposite Keira Knightley and
Mhm.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
It's like
Two amazing
great
actors.
job,
Yeah.
me. And he's the only person that I saw a lot of celebrities there, but I went up to and I was like, you are incredible. And I just need you to know. And he had seen the movie where I was in and he goes, you were really funny. And I was like, like melted in my David Wayne. Oh my God. Wet Hot American Summer is.
I love that.
Yeah.
The show and then the movie, right? They did a movie as a little, not a show, but a little add-on. Here's,
Yeah.
was it like a reunion? They come back later with,
But the reunion is actually
Is it-
the movie. It's pre the other one.
Yeah.
So the actors are older, but they're playing, younger than
yeah, younger.
Yes.
And that's
That's
part of
so
the charm
funny.
of the movie.
And one of the characters had gained probably like 60 pounds
Mhm.
from like 20 years ago. So
Oh,
it was
it's
just
so
so
good.
funny to see him. And he's like, I really want to lose weight before summer camp. Like that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff is just.
Oh,
It's
so
awesome.
good.
It's awesome. It's a
It's so
genius
funny.
show. So great.
I also really loved. It was on the same tone of Z Nation, but the Evil Dead show.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
I was so
yes.
upset when they canceled it. I was just,
Me.
I love
too.
Evil
Yeah.
Dead. Evil Dead's
I
one of my
was
favorite franchises,
Oh, same. How did you feel about the remake in like 2000?
I liked
or
it.
something.
I liked it because it was darker, much
I
more
thought it was
graphic.
metal.
It was
Right.
very,
It was
very, yeah.
batshit crazy. I watched a lot of that one too.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
liked
God,
it. And then
was-
if you watch the credits, I don't know if you've watched all the way through the credits, there is a little teaser at the end where it shows the silhouette of Ash, of Bruce Campbell, and he just says
Yes.
groovy.
Yes.
It's like, see, they know, they're paying homage.
They know what we
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
I love that one only because we just want to put like metal music to it and
Yeah.
watch it without the.
God, it's so
just,
violent.
It
and
rains
just-
blood.
It rains
it's just
blood. The knife cutter with the oh god, or the box. Oh,
and well, I forgot the girl's name who plays the Deadite in the basement, but she's great as
Yeah.
the Deadite with that little thing, and she's like,
yeah.
Wait, are we talking about Jane Levy?
yeah, Jane
yeah,
Levy.
yeah.
Dude,
She's.
you guys want to hear something crazy?
What?
Please tell me.
She's my little sister's like best friend growing
Really?
up. I know her
Really?
family
Dude,
like
you know
extremely
everybody.
well. I know it's the wildest thing. So like we grew up in Marin County. We went to high school out there, and her brother Simon is in my class. We have the same birthday, and then Jane is my little sister's age, my twin sisters, and they were always best friends growing up. But she was just a girl I knew, and like we all went to drama. We were all in the same drama class and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And then she got into NYU, and she went to NYU, and then like a couple years later, she became a big deal. Like she got into Evil Dead and she got into Shameless. Like
Shameless,
for her, she had a pretty good, I don't know like what have her tell it, but like she went into NYU and then I guess she got hooked with an agent from there and got Shameless, and then from there has just done really well for herself. But yeah, I've known that girl
forever.
Man, she's just like a girl I've known since she was like born. Like she's not like
she's killing it.
Isn't that crazy? I know, and it's just like she's just some random. She's doing a great job, and it's like just the world is so small, and
is it weird knowing
her brother's a good guy too. Her brother's a good guy.
Growing up and seeing her grow up and knowing her personally, is it weird to see? And same question to you, Sarah, for people that you know personally, to see him in a role like that that's so violent as an actor. Does it ever like seem strange to you watching a movie like that? Someone you know personally?
Me?
Just in general.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah, it's both of you. Especially with the situation with Jane where, you've got Evil Dead, which is a very graphic and violent movie.
I mean, like I don't know. I think we got a kick out of it at the time, but now I've been in some pretty violent stuff myself.
It's true.
So it's
I love it. I love to watch my friends' movies, and like if I know someone is in something, I don't know really how residuals work, but I put that shit on when I leave in the Home Alone. I'm putting on the stuff my friends are in because I want them to get money. So I love seeing anything my friends are in, even if it's a piece of shit. I'm like, I love you, that kind of thing. So.
Do they ever ask you for critiques? Like, hey, did you see my movie? What did you think? And do you give them an honest, like, professional, like, hey, this is...
God, no.
So it was great.
God, no.
Loved it every second.
There's nothing you can do after.
Good point. Yeah.
Something that's interesting about making movies, films, is that the whole team, from editing to sound to lighting to colorists, everything has to be on point.
Yeah.
Because you can have the best actors in the world and they can be in the biggest piece of shit in the world because the stuff they don't have control over.
Yeah, exactly.
And so a lot of it's just what's great about being on a set is if you're on a good one, it is a well-oiled machine. Everyone is just at the top of their game and you're watching it and you're like, it's almost like worker bees. It's just people buzzing around doing everything at the highest caliber. And it's, but you can tell when something's shitty and you're like, I'm not going to tell you that it is, but we all know.
They already know.
They know. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Usually it's just about trying to convince your friends that it's not their fault. But like, dude, come on. Everyone will look shitty in that fucking movie.
I see that too.
You were great in it.
I always think of that when I watch something or I play a game. And if the game is crapped on by critics and the fans, everyone hates it, I look at it objectively because I don't blame any one part. It's, I don't blame the actors because it's not your. Actually, it kind of starts at the top.
Oh yeah.
It's the direction of the game and the producers that are giving the information to the director to see what. So I don't blame the individual pieces, and especially not the actors, because you're working with what you're being told to do.
AKA Sedna.
Sedna, yes, which is a Fear Effect remake.
Yeah,
which wasn't a remake. It was a sequel. It wasn't the best game. It was interesting. Again, I can find positive in anything.
I'm the same as you. I will find the positive in things.
It's an interesting
game.
Yeah,
and there are very few things where I'm like, this was a piece of garbage. Just because
dude, you know how hard it is to get a movie made?
Exactly.
Anyone who gets anything made, you're like, fuck, good for you.
I'm so proud of you.
Then you see some movies like, how did this get made?
Oh my God, that's a a great podcast. How did this get made?
Yeah, how did this get made? That's a very good idea.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let's mark that one down.
Because it's just, they're so expensive, and it almost feels like a miracle when something gets made. So.
Right.
Well, it's like that one guy out of Germany who was making all the video game movies. What was his name? The one that made Blood Rain. Uwe Boll. Yeah, he was getting tax write-offs, so he could just churn out these D-grade movies one after another.
Garbage movies that sometimes had good actors, like Christian Slater. He was in Alone in the Dark. Which is a U-Ball movie, and it's a horrible movie, but it's Christian Slater. I'm not going to say Christian Slater's a bad actor because of a crappy movie.
Christian Slater. Yeah. He's so
Go watch
good.
iRobot. If you want to see something current that he's done, iRobot is a genius show, and he's great in it.
He's also was just in Dr. Death. A show based on a podcast, based on a true story, and he was incredible in it. I just watched it and I was like, God damn it, Slater, you are getting to me. You are so good.
Still got it.
You still got it, buddy. That's super interesting.
Sarah, I want to ask one other question because I got another question. Would you ever want to like direct anything or like make your own thing? Like, you know, where do you ever think about doing something like that? Or do you think you just like being an actor?
I prefer being an actor, but if I were to direct something, I would love to not be in it too. I think that's too much. I would like to focus on the one thing. I would be interested in making something that not necessarily I would direct, but that I would have hands in other than like on the producing side. Cause I produced some stuff too with Rosanna and that kind of thing. You know, I'm not the kind of person that's like, I need to direct right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I enjoy, it's that same thing too, where it's a lot of the time right now to be in anything, you have to make it yourself. Right. So it's just kind of, and then that's just all those steps that we were talking about, the financing, and that's just much work. I just want to do. I just want to go read the script out loud. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It takes forever to make some shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What about casting? So you did the casting work with Rosanna. Well, how did you develop the relationship with Rosanna, first of all?
She was so wonderful at auditions. She's great.
She's the best.
She's giving. She's a champion for people she likes.
A legend.
She truly is. She's an icon and a legend.
Yes.
Truly one of my best friends. And I had done Resident Evil 7 with her. And, you know, you form a relationship with the producer because you're always talking to them. They're dealing with the craziest stuff ever. And to watch her handle high stress situations has taught me so much. And then after that, I reached out even before 8 started. And I just said, hey, I would love to learn from you. So if you would like, I would love to, you know, if you're casting something or if you're producing something, I would like to shadow you if that's possible. Thinking not going to get paid for it. And she was like, hell no, you will get paid. So whatever I do, whatever I do, you're going to get paid. Like so, she fights for you to get the most. She
really does.
Good people.
And so many times I've seen her on the phone as a woman producer. And people are treating her like shit. And she literally has to list her credits where she was like, I was a producer on all the Matrix movies. I was a producer on Thin Red Line. I was a producer on all of these animated features. So are you going to continue to speak to me like that? Like she said stuff and I'm like,
don't recognize.
And then they're so nice to her. And I'm like in the background going like, woohoo. So she's such a badass. And then she's also the nicest. So the first thing I did with her is there was an Australian show that was shooting 2 days in America. And so she was like, come help me produce this. And it's,
cool.
God, I forgot the name of the show. It's a show where the characters sit in a car. So all of the stuff takes place with 2 people sitting in a car. And it's really funny. It's kind of like The Office in a car. And it's their journey to and from work. So it's each episode is like 3 different cars to and from work. And it's really funny, big comedians. And that was really stressful and very fun, but it was such a learning experience. And then then a couple things happened where she reached out to me. She was like, do you know actors for this? Do you know any actors for this? And like I said earlier, I love getting my friends gigs.
Right.
And then when 8 came along, she was like, I'm going to have you read for it. But since you were already one of the main villains, I don't know like what I can promise you, but would you want to help me with casting too? And I was like, absolutely. So it's, you know, going from the casting call that came out, which of course it didn't say like, this is Resident Evil 8, it just said the characters, going through all of those auditions that would come in, then having multiple sessions, bringing people in and reading with them. And it's definitely interesting to see the other side. I'd seen it many times with theater because I'd cast a lot of plays and that kind of thing. I've been like helped with productions and whatnot, but it's just so interesting to see what a prepared person looks like, what a not prepared person looks like. I didn't realize there's a big difference in someone who can do motion capture and voiceover and then just really strong voiceover artists, because sometimes voiceover artists can't move their body worth. Like for Jesse's character example, he's playing this hunchback and you need someone who can vocally give that to you and physically give that to you. And that's not an easy task.
Yeah.
I'm not, I never was a voice actor. You know what I mean? I was just an actor dude who ended up doing motion capture.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I happen to like to play characters and I like to be doing that kind of body stuff. Like I like giving it, you know, I like doing that. I like
the cool physical stuff is just always a blast.
I can commit to it. Yeah.
And then it came to the point where, you know, she let me do a couple of the castings by myself and show her my favorite people. I cut together the clips and really put together the best moments for Capcom and Miyazaki-san and all these people. And so I felt like I had a big hand in who was cast and it felt good. It felt really good. It was fun. I mean, it's not a forever path, but I love working with Rosanna, and she's one of the only casting directors, and Jesse can speak to this, who, when we schedule people out, normally you go in and you have one time and you do it and you leave. She schedules the actors 15 minutes because she goes, we're doing the scene, and then she'll give you notes, and she wants your best take to be the one that goes. Yeah. And it's rare. It's so rare.
I know.
I will say,
more comfortable.
Oh yeah. I will say this woman came in to read for The Hag. And Carol Stanzioni was the greatest. When she came in, I was like, I hope to be anything like this woman. She is incredible. But this one woman came in and it took her, she had a beautiful voice, but it took her about 10 minutes to walk from the door to where the casting was. She was like 90 years old.
Really? Yeah.
And Rosanna and I were like, you're so wonderful. We can't use you for motion capture. You were so great, but you can't, it was heavenly. So you see things like that. And then I also love reading with actors. So I've said this many times. I was like, can I please play the Duke? I loved reading the Duke's lines.
Aaron was awesome in that role.
Right?
Yeah, that's a great
The Duke was great.
And so
that's your friend too. You knew who to call, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I knew exactly who to call. And I said, because when we first got the breakdowns of the characters, one of the things it said in it was like a Jabba the Hutt-esque, like big, loud, boisterous voice. And then also someone who could be really funny. And
that's Aaron all over it.
And that is Aaron. He's not Jabba the Hutt-esque, but
no,
I'm saying someone.
He's got the, like you said, the boisterous. He's got a full voice, and he's funny, and he has voice work that he can.
And he's also like 6'5", like he's a huge dude. Yeah. And I told Rosanna, I was like, "You're not going to need to see anybody else." And she was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, I promise. And I had him record something and just send it to me over a text, and she was like,
got it. That's it right there.
Yeah, she was like, yes, of course. So
nice.
It was really cool. I always feel really good. And I mean, I say this too, like I bring my friends / people I know in, but they get the jobs.
They earned
I just
it at
bring
the same
them.
time.
Yeah, they earned it.
It's not a handout. They're earning it. They
but
deserve
also
it.
I did it. I'm just kidding. But also they should give me a percentage.
Right. Pay this woman.
Yes. Right.
Question. So since you've been on the other side of the table, you've seen people come to audition, you've helped cast. What notes would you give someone who goes out and does these auditions that's maybe not having luck or needs to refine their touch?
Yes. One thing that we did in grad school that I don't think people do enough here is literally rehearse walking into the room. Huh. Like you're at your house, and I know that sounds insane. Open a door. Know where your stuff is going to go. Don't be a chaotic mess the moment, because your audition starts the moment you get out of your car, because you don't know who's going to see you.
Yeah, might see you out the
don't
window,
know what's happening. Yeah. I mean, they may be walking, grabbing a coffee. And if you're like on the phone or something crazy, that's where your audition starts. So being on time, and because we'll have people come in and they'll like throw their bag down and they're like, "Oh, it was the traffic was so bad." Of course it was bad. It's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like calm the chaos, because that when you bring the chaos in the room, it ignites the room in chaos.
Yeah.
And so your audition is going to have chaos behind it. And in college, we used to, like, one of the big things we would do when we were doing like going out into the world auditioning was literally, how do you walk into the room? Where do you think you're going to put your stuff? Think of that stuff too, because that is really important. And then I would say, like I said earlier, being prepared, but also being directable. So a lot of the time you will come in, you'll read for something, and this happens to me a lot, and then they'll go, you're not right for this one, but read this one. So knowing that you may have to do some cold readings. So if you don't do that a lot, practice that. Right. Grab anything and read it out loud. And I also recommend auditioning in general is your first read, do what you do best. Don't do what you think that we want you to do. So if you are, for example, for me, I always, if I'm doing a comedic scene and I really thrive in an improvised environment, I will do the scene as written, but I will improvise a button at the end. I'll do something, and maybe I'll kind of plan it, but I'll read the room and see what's going on. But because I want them to know that that is what I do well. Right. And then they can say, tone it down. I've gotten a couple one time someone was like, let's Judd Apatow, let's bring it more to reality. And I was like, great. And I booked that job. That was Laggy. So they were like, let's Judd Apatow, switch it around. And so do what you do your very best the first time and let the casting director direct you, because that's their job, is to direct you to give the best performance. Yep. You know, and just be a normal person. Like I get it, but like we all like coming in, and we're also checking out what kind of person you will be to work with. So just being a nice person and saying hello and kind of reading the vibe of the room. Rosanna's rooms are always really relaxed, and you know, and just I think those would be my tips for sure. Those would be my tips.
So to recap, get there early. Get there. I'm gonna tie this into a couple things from my history.
Don't bring your drama.
Yeah, don't bring your drama. Save the drama.
I mean,
for your
tell
mama.
me later, because I want to know the drama, but not in a casting.
Leave it at the door.
15 minutes prior to the 15 minutes. Be 30 minutes early always.
Yes. So many times I've sat in a bathroom stall, just being like,
me too.
Looking at my phone, like at least I'm here.
You know? It helps quiet that drama and that chaos, because now you've got 30 minutes to at least kind of focus in and find out what's going on and get your head straight. Like you said, mechanics, body mechanics, because we've touched on it. Voice acting is acting. And especially in video games and stuff now where it's motion capture, because you're still doing a physical performance now, not just going in a booth and recording. So your body mechanics are looking, if you're coming in to record for someone, they obviously need to make sure that you're physically look like you can match the part, right? Oh, she froze.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay, great. But so I ended with body mechanics are mechanics.
Yeah, you can. Okay, great. They're looking to see if you fit the bill for the character that they're looking for physically. Personality wise, you know, read the room. Either be professional, be light, read the room, and then perform. Be flexible, because you might get notes. Another military thing in the Marines, we used to say "semper Gumby." All semper mean always, and Gumby flexible. Be putty, basically. Because there's times when we would go, be like, go, 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 go. You got to get out there, and then we get to like a warehouse where we're supposed to fly out of, and we're stuck there for 12 hours. While the last 3 hours were intense chaos of get there, get there. And now you're stuck there for 12, laying on your bag with nothing else to do. So you got to be flexible. But in this situation, being able to take notes and feedback and then adjust your performance if they give you, like, that's great, but let's try it this way type of thing, right?
Yeah, just being ready for whatever is thrown at you. And I remember an acting teacher once told me just to kind of leave your brain at the door. Like, you're going to bring in all this stuff of, I say things like practice coming into the room, but I don't want you to get in your head. Stay out of your head. Know what you're doing and be so clear with your skill and what you do best that you're just going to go in there and exist.
Right.
Because that's all they're really asking.
That's why I talk, focus.
Yeah.
Focus, going in there and existing as the character and allowing what you know you're good at to shine. Because when you think like, oh, is my outfit weird? Oh, my hair, blah, blah, blah. No. Just go in there and exist. And do, that's why I say too, do what you do best first. Try it out. And then when you leave that audition there, you did your job. There's nothing else to think about it, because also knowing that casting really also, there's so many more factors than how good you are. You could be the best person for the job, but you could be an inch too tall. You could be something that is out of your control.
The way you walk maybe is not exactly that we want this character representing. And it's not coachable. Maybe you can't match this walk, but they're looking at you from day one or from second one.
Yes. And two, knowing auditions too are every audition, you're also auditioning for the next role that person is doing. That casting director is doing.
Networking,
Yes.
That's what I do more than anything. I try and always say to myself, I hope that they just, I like the parts one thing, but it's more like I just want the casting director to like me and want to bring me back for more stuff.
Because you're going to make them look good. Yeah. Because that's what it feels like with casting. I want to be
one of their people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Rosanna, with casting this, I was like, I felt good because I was like, I got my Jessie, I got my Aaron, I got my Jeanette. I'm bringing in my A team. They're going to crush it, and I'm going to look awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my favorite part.
Yeah. I want casting directors to feel like I can find this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like this kid's, I can bring him back. He can get a part, you know?
Yeah. You're like their what is it? Smoking gun? No, you're ace in the hole. You're whatever.
Ace in the hole. Yeah.
You're that, you know.
Yeah. I want them to think they caught a live one.
Yeah, they're like, there she is. She's going to bring it.
Here we go.
I mean, it definitely worked out too, because Resident Evil 7 and Village had some of the best voice acting, I'd say, in the entire series.
And it shows. It shows because they combined the cast, and not only just 7 and Village, but let's throw in 2 remake and 3 remake too, because they're also phenomenal actors, great story work, great performances, and you see that now is all kind of combined into Village. So it makes sense, right? If they're happy with the performances, you guys can deliver what they're looking for. Great personalities, great people to work with. Why not bring everyone back and do it again? You know?
Yes.
And if you're flexible.
You know what you're going to get out of them. You know you're going to get a product that you're happy with. So, and that's what's great about, being someone that people can trust in this biz, because then you're just going to get calls all the time. I got a call the other night. I hate saying this because I hate it when actors say this. I can't tell you what it's for. Off of this, I can't. But they were like, someone dropped out. I need you to come in. And it was for a big fucking movie. Like I was like, what? I got there, I didn't know what it was, and I was like, whoa. will I be in the credits? I don't know, but the experience was awesome because those people trusted me, and they were like, sick. Bring Sarah in. So it was those are that's the kind of career you should try and set up for yourself. Yeah. Because if you're difficult, you're never going to get called back. Do you think Skelly gets called back?
It's a trade skill.
No.
My grandfather and my uncle were plumbers their whole lives. They both started their own businesses, and their businesses were very successful because of being that person that you can rely on. Yeah. And it's a form of networking. It's a trade skill, because you don't just get roles. You have to earn the roles, and you have to make those contacts with people that, like you said, will call you back for other stuff. That's how you keep getting work. You can audition all day, but it's the networking, I think, that keeps you paid and keeps you.
Most of my jobs I get are from people I've worked for before.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
It's like the old saying too, Ollie. It's like, you deserve nothing, you earn it.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
The world owes you nothing.
The world owes you nothing. It's what you make of it.
And I think a lot of actors feel like the world owes them a lot. There's a lot of people that are like, I deserve this. And it's like, do you though?
It's like what Jesse was it was like Jesse was saying earlier when you come in for an audition. There's a difference between like being confident in yourself and being egotistical.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think a lot of actors and actresses forget that one.
Oh yeah. And because that's another thing too, is I think that's important, and I've learned over the years, is to champion the other people that either book something over me or getting my friends work that I didn't get, and it will come back to you. We're all not competing for one thing. We're all working together to create something incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good headspace to sit in and then practice your shit.
Yes.
If you want to be a voiceover actor, record yourself on your phone and listen to it and try stuff out.
Well, that's what I tell people all the time, because me and Ollie do like fan dubs here on the side sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's some people we'll work with, they'll want to do it, but they don't want to hear themselves record. It's like, you cannot be a voice actor or actress without hearing yourself and being comfortable in your own voice.
The thing is, understand, it helps to get with, like if you're brand new to it, I understand you don't know your area,
your range.
You don't know what kind of arch, like what character type that you're good at.
Yeah.
And that takes time, but you need feedback. You can't be scared. You have to ask for critique. You have to be like, hey, and that's kind of bounces off another question I was going to throw out there before we start wrapping this up here. Is dealing with the no's. In the early part, were the no's really difficult to overcome, or were naturally both of you guys, Jesse and Sarah?
I thought you said nose, like my nose on my face, and I was like,
the nose.
Is it something I didn't see? Like my nose, I get stuffy.
My nose has been difficult to overcome. Yes.
I'm going to tell you. So I told you a little bit earlier about my father, who was a mean man most of his life, and I strived for him to like me. And there's something about, to me, that I find just, it pulls me in like a Walter White character, like a villain, kind of. I always thought of my dad as just this man who got a bad deal. He had a lot of bad things happen in his childhood, and I just always wanted to make him happy, and he was a very negative dude. So I feel like in acting, I kind of, the no's get me more excited. That's probably weird for some people, but I'm like, oh, you don't like me? You're gonna like me. Like, I love when I meet, like, we had our inspector that inspected our house come, and he was the grumpiest man. And I think he was the soul of my father coming in here, but I made him laugh like 3 times. And every time I was like, yes.
You love the challenge of breaking something.
Oh, I do. I'm like, I'm gonna get into that squishy center.
You're gonna have a good
break
day,
through that hard exterior.
or at least a good moment here with me.
Well, and he's emailed me back, and he's sent me stuff for our backyard, and like, so I'm like, I know you're a teddy bear. So part of me, I think I have, that's just a coping mechanism for me, or like a survival technique that I've used because I grew up with such a negative parent.
Yeah.
But
Frozen. The suspense.
Because I was on hold, like the show Hacks. It's really popular.
You froze. Take us back like 3 seconds.
Great. Got my back. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, so there's certain shows that I can't watch yet.
Okay.
Like the show Hacks that came out. I was on hold for that show, and I didn't book it. It went to a name, blah, blah, blah. Great. Awesome. But, it's still a little stingy, so I'm going to hold off and watch it later. And you can still get the ouch, like, ooh, I want this bad, and you don't get it, and you take your day or two, and you feel bad for yourself, and you're like, why not me? But then you have to take stock in what you already have, and what you already have that's outside of acting. And the things that you love, like my dog, and beautiful sunshine, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's my my therapist actually tells me for that kind of stuff.
Wait, Ollie.
Yeah, she froze again.
Right.
Coming back.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Damn it. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
My therapist that I talk to regularly from the VA has talked about that because I deal with monopolar depression and just medication, all that crap. I've got severe anxiety. I've got all these issues that have just compounded over my lifetime. Same thing with you, Sarah. I didn't have a great upbringing, and then it was kind of like exacerbated through the military with certain things, events and stuff. I'm
hugging you.
Thank you. I feel the warmth.
Yes, I'm hugging you.
But yeah, I get that that feeling of rejection or anxiety of not being accepted or not being approved. The validation that you want. Jesse, you've talked about validation before. When we talk with Neil, but my therapist is part of my problem is I go out in public and I feel like I'm constantly under watch, like people are watching and judging, and I deal with a lot of internal stuff. I'm constantly judging myself because of it. Yeah, and it makes me not want to go anywhere and be around people. So part of the stuff that he talks to me about is like, you cannot control other people. Your impression is not the truth of what the situation is. Don't put your internal issues into their head, because they're not really judging you. They're just going about their day, and then, like you said, focus on the happy stuff. Losing something important that hurts always hurts, and it's something hard to recover. But if you focus on the good stuff you still have, the things that bring light to your life, then you can find some positive and move on.
Yeah. That's probably why you and I find, Ollie, the best in things like movies that are a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like I'm always like, this was great. Probably because it's just easier for me. Also, let me leave you with a quote from RuPaul, which is, other people's opinion of me is none of my business.
That's the
Preach.
I like that. Yeah.
Preach. Because why? And that has been a big thing for me, because I've always felt like an outcast or someone from the Misfit Toys. Like I've always just felt like a weirdo.
Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes. And it's finding those people in your life that you care about their opinion, but because they're always going to back you and that kind of thing. I have depression as well. I take Zoloft and I have anxiety. So I understand that. And it's more common than you think, but the people that really love you are the ones you got to just.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry because I deal with it too, but something I tell to myself all the time is sometimes I'll stop and I'll be like, dude, listen to the way you talk to yourself. Like, what if you saw someone that you knew talking to themselves the way you talk to yourself? Dude, you'd be so hurt by the like you would just want them to understand that the way they feel isn't true. Right? Like on my darkest days when I'm being so cruel to myself, I go, man, dude, imagine if you were to witness someone you care about talking to themselves that way, or someone else talking to them the way that you talk to yourself right now. Like, my goodness.
Would you stand for it? Yeah.
You would not stand for it. You would step in, and it's like, so why do you allow yourself
start doing that with
yourself? Have so much negativity?
Or you wouldn't talk to your friends like that. You wouldn't talk to the people you love the most, and the person you should love the most is yourself.
Love yourself.
Self-love. That is what I love about the internet. I always tell people, if you will not say it to somebody's face, don't say it online.
Right.
What was that message, the quote you just said a minute ago about other people's opinion?
Other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
Right.
It's none of your business.
I like taking if I ever were to write a book someday, I would pull all the nice pieces from the interviews I've done of positive, reaffirming, Neil said, listen to your own voice first. And I think that was a big help for a couple months. I really, I held that as a mantra because there's so many outsiding factors that can drive your focus, where you're taking yourself. But you got to stop and listen to yourself first. And it's just the way I want to go. It's just where I want to be. The new one is going to be your one about the opinions. Other people's opinions about you are none of your business. Is that right?
None of your business.
There, so that's one on the board now.
It's none of your business. And then it kind of sets you free a little bit. You're like, I don't care what you think. Or and another one is like, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?
Right. Exactly.
So that's another RuPaul quote.
So what's the other thing about the opinion thing is not only the opinions of other people, but those people, there is no people. They don't have opinions of you. Everyone's struggling hard enough, just trying to build people. While I'm worried about someone else's opinion of me, they're over there worried about my opinion of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're all just sitting there worried about each other. And no one's even, and all anyone wants to do is let the other person know that they should be kind to themselves.
Yeah.
I actually have
it's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
I have a clip of Sarah. Anytime I have to deal with these kind of people online, I steal the clip from Z Nation where everybody's under fire and she comes out with the submachine gun yelling, "There's a baby on board! There's a baby on board!"
That was so wonderful. On that scene that day, they had the line scripted without swear words. And then they said, Rachel Goldenberg, who's a director who champions me all the time. She puts me in every commercial she does. And I'm always like, thank you. But she goes, okay, do it again. I'm not going to tell anybody you're doing this, but I just want you to use the craziest profanity of your life. And that's the one they ended up beeping out. Because I just said, and the line, I'm going to rip off your arms and saw off your head. I said in the moment,
that is the one I have saved and I use all the time.
I'm gonna rip off your arms and saw off your head.
So motherfucking baby on board.
It was actually funny. I saw Z Nation first, did not know I did not know Sarah was playing Mrs. Baker in RE7.
Yeah, I remember how excited you got when
I did. I was like, that is Pie Lady.
Pie Girl.
Oh, nice.
We briefly touched on it, but I auditioned for that show when I lived in Seattle, and I flew myself, because I read that part, and I flew myself to Spokane, Washington, where the first few seasons were shot, because I just knew that I needed to audition for this part. They had already said I could come in. And then it was one episode, and they just kept bringing me back, and then they would kill me and bring me back a different way. And then I like gave birth to myself. Like it was just wild, weird. And then it became like a joke. Like, how can we bring her back in a dream? And then like, blah, blah, blah. So it became like zombie summer camp because I
loved it. It came out the perfect time because Walking Dead was so serious. And then you have Z Nation where you have zombies being run over by a block of cheese.
For episodes, for seasons. Yeah. The wheel is still rolling. I got to see the wheel in real life, and there were pieces of actual cheese in it because Russell, who plays Docs, was supposed to like grab a piece and eat it. Yeah. And it was truly wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Just putting it out there. We still want a movie. Come on, Netflix.
That'd be cool, right? Netflix, let's
just
do it.
Bring us all back. Come on. Yeah, it was really great. I will say they did do Black Summer, which is really great. Jamie King is great in that. But there's some drama with Asylum, the production company who did like all the Sharknadoes, and they did Z Nation because they haven't paid us any residuals. Zero goose egg. So I mean that's a lot of drama. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here. Whatever. It's rude.
It's out there.
And they're just like, we're not going to. So
they should pay their people.
They should.
I mean, SAG's been wonderful about it, and they're helping us and trying to figure it all out. But
so
I don't know if there's going to be a movie.
A channel I watch called Neebs Gaming, one of my favorite. I watch them religiously. They're awesome. It's a group of they were actors and crew, grip, stuff like that. That had a passion for acting and animating, so they started their channel as an animation channel, did small episodes and stuff, and then they kind of grew into a gaming channel over the time because people love their personalities. So they would like play games that allowed them to make a cinematic version to where it was like multiple camera angles, and then they got to actually be their acting within this world. And where was I going with that? Oh, one of the guys, Duralius, Nate, has been in quite a few things as side characters, small characters, extras and stuff. Yeah. He's in Iron Man 3, and all you see is his shoulder. But he received residuals for that.
Shoulder guy.
For a while.
He received his,
but not anymore. But he's like, he got checks for a while just as residuals.
Good for him. That makes me proud.
Shoulder.
AJ, I have a pitch. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, ready. Here is my pitch. Because Asylum probably won't produce it. What if, because I truly think Serena is not dead. I think because she had sex with Murphy, she got some part of that. So she's like half hybrid zombie. What if she gets a hold of a cell phone because for some odd reason, the cell phone network comes back up. She films an entire movie on her cell phone because I can get all the characters. I can get everybody. If we write it, I can get everybody.
That's a good idea.
We can do the entire movie in like a mini web series where I get everybody back on some form of funny. And then we can cut together, like hopefully we get some money and we can cut together the non-cell phone footage. But it can be like Sabrina's return, Pie Girl's return, and then she has to find everybody. And so she's going around finding everybody.
I have two simple words. Hell yes.
Let's do it. I love it.
Can I tell you that that's kind of how I pitched, like how I got people to bring Pie Girl back, because I just talked about it on the internet. I went on Twitter and I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if she came back in a dream or was a ghost or was like Six on Battlestar Galactica, Cylon that just followed the person around. Yes.
Or in the head.
And so that's how like the showrunner was like getting a lot of emails and texts, or not texts, like tweets and stuff saying like bring her back. So that's what you got to do. Just got to put it out there.
Pie Girl had a TikTok account.
Yes.
God damn it.
There you go. So you can start using the TikTok.
That's the only way I'm going to do it. Oh, that's really smart. Pie Girl reminds me of like a Harley Quinn style character.
Exactly. Yes.
She's just so weird. No fear.
Quirky.
Just a weirdo and so fun. So it was a privilege.
Yeah, definitely.
A weird character.
Hey, you fought for that character too. We briefly talked about that before we started recording here. How you fought to keep Pie Girl to come back.
Oh. Yes.
And the fans did too.
I want a job. Well, I loved the cast. Like I was saying, it was like zombie summer camp. Everyone was, the cast and the crew were so fun. And so I just kept tweeting about it or talking to people. And then I would get a call every year that was like, hey, you want to come back? And I'm like, yes. And they were like, it's your fault. So, you know, if I have to do that, I will. And I was literally like sending people little pie pins or little pie bags and being like, tweet about it.
Yeah.
And I'll send you stuff.
That was like I do. I remember the petitions and everything, like Save Pie Girl.
Yep.
I didn't make them, but did I get into people's heads? I did.
Brilliant.
Marketing.
Brilliant.
I mean, that's guerrilla marketing at its finest.
Yep. I always that's why I always, whenever I'm getting interviews from people, I always say that I want to be, when they say, what would you want? I always want to say, I want to be in the MCU. Yeah. And I put it out there because I hope that the fans will start being like making photos of me, like splicing me with different ideas, and then maybe I'll get a read for Marvel from that.
You have to.
Yeah. And then I'll get to audition.
You'll sign all the non-disclosures for that. I had a friend who went in and she had to sign lots of non-disclosures, and then she had to, like, a car picked her up to take her to a secret freaking location.
I mean, she's a and everything. And so you're telling nobody about this,
right? She's a name. She's a name anyway. But like, still, I was like, that's crazy.
Wow.
And didn't have, like, the lines are always from different movies that already exist and stuff like that. Which
they don't let you read or really, like Tom Holland, they don't even give him the script. So they're so protective of their property because there's been leaks, and it's too big of a universe for one leak to ruin the bigger picture.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's like
what happened.
What is it? Scream 5, I guess they're up to now.
The new one?
Apparently, they apparently had a different ending for like each character, just so they would not ruin that ending like with Scream 2 back in the day.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love the Scream movies.
They're great. I can't wait for the new one. God, I hope they bring back what is it? Lillard, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah,
I'm just happy horror is finally getting back to where it should be, like with the new Halloweens. So good.
I loved the new Halloween too. So fun because they're just scary deaths, like they should be, and not like weird, quirky, like
not everything
Jason
needs a message behind it. Sometimes you just want to watch a horror movie where a bad guy goes and does bad things and he gets killed by the good guy. So, yes. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up. We've been going for an hour and a half here. Unless you want to keep going, I'm down to keep talking.
We're good. I think I need to rest. My vocals.
Sarah,
well, I'm just happy we got to end it on Z Nation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got to it.
Yes, good.
That's AJ told me when I was like, we're talking to Sarah. He's like, I got to talk about Z Nation. I was like,
yes, it was so fun. I'm still really good friends with Keith, who played Murphy.
Yeah.
We text all the time. He's hysterical. Right before the pandemic, you probably saw it on my Instagram. Keith and I were going to host the Razzies.
Oh wow!
Razzie Awards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we made like a video to like introduce all the nominees, and we were gonna do like almost like a 70s game show style thing. And we were in rehearsal for the Razzies when everything was shut down, which was such a bummer.
Yeah.
But it was so fun to work with him again because he's such a weirdo and such a talent and like so good. So I'm still friends with all.
I think you're really onto something with the Pie Girl doing a web series. I really think that could be.
I like that too.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's a simple enough concept that it could get made.
Yeah, because if she had like, they don't even have to be that long. Like if she had like a TikTok where she's, like the internet gets back up for some odd reason and she can create these videos. They're just, I don't know. There's something there.
There is something there. I agree. Yeah.
It's me putting it out to all the ghosts.
Yeah. Gotta tap that gold.
Or a prequel before she meets up with the people from the show. But then everyone from the show to bring in too. But
I want to bring the people back. And I also want to bring my character back to life because she's died multiple times.
Just see like, remember the end of, this movie is horrible, but Wolverine Origins.
Suckerine Borigins, you mean?
Suckerine Borigins.
That's what I called it after I left. I was like, boo!
That was awful. But the end, when the post-credit scene, when you see Wade's body, and then he kind of creeps his hand to his head and his eyes open up. But it would be funny to see like there's a pile of rubble.
She's laying there,
and she just see like your hand come out and
her
grab her phone.
Comes up.
That's the teaser.
Like, she grabs the phone and she's like,
takes a selfie.
That's the business.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Suckerine Borigins.
Yeah.
That's what we call it because I hate it so much.
It's so funny.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Do you have, because like I always like to do, give you a minute at the end to kind of give your thanks or any thoughts for the fans out there?
Oh my God. The Resident Evil fans are the greatest fans of all time. And same with Z Nation. Like I feel like I lucked out in this horror world world where I'm passionate about this stuff and the people have become my friends. And I truly love logging on to Twitter every day and seeing the funny things people write and the cool pictures they draw. And I just feel beyond lucky to have this family of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love when people send me pictures of their pets. So like, feel free to take a picture of your dog and tweet it at me because that's what I want.
Yeah.
So
hype.
I know. Yeah. And then also like my dog. And if you ever want to draw a picture of my dog, send it to me. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that I get really excited and I feel very lucky to have so many cool people like the stuff we're doing and like the stuff we're in because we like it too and we're fans of it too. So it's just double fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Jesse, any save rounds on your side? Any last thoughts for Sarah or anything you want to get into?
Oh, just thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. I look up to you so much, and you've just been such a good friend since I met you. And thank you for being here today. I love talking to you so much. You're such a great person to be around.
AJ from the Stratosphere, you got anything on your side?
Well, Sarah already knows that she's pretty much my favorite. So thank you for doing this again. It was awesome talking to you again.
Yes.
I love chatting with you.
I love having Sarah on. Sarah's amazing. You're such a fun person to always hang out and talk with. And,
Same Zoe with you guys.
I really want to get you into Phasmophobia. I think we'd have a blast. We just got to work that out. So,
yeah, I need to hunt some ghosts.
Some ghost hunting.
I need to bust some ghosts.
Nice. Speaking of Ghostbusters,
you know what,
I can't
Ollie?
wait for that. But what's up?
Maybe we should show her Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame. I think it would be fun. Since you're such a horror fan, we should do like just some streams where you just hang out and watch us play some of the greatest horror games ever made.
Yeah, we got some ghost games, Sarah.
Yeah,
definitely. I love some ghost stuff. Yeah. I would love to watch that.
That'd be a lot
but
of
I
fun.
need you to explain it to me whilst I'm watching. I'm like, who is that and why are they there? So.
Especially Fatal Frame.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to this. And if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop a comment. We do reply to comments. And I don't know, Sarah, if she wants to check it out, she can maybe reply to some. Or Sarah, social media, so they can send you some questions or anything they want to connect with you.
Lordy. Yes, I believe my social media is... I signed up for social media when I didn't realize you needed to have the same name over the whole thing. So whatever. Yeah, we didn't do that then. But my Twitter is at SL Coates. And my Instagram is at Scotesy. So it's SCOATESY.
That's it.
That's the only social media I go on. So
there it is. Jesse, what's yours? We've announced it before.
It's just at Pimentel.Jesse.
Yeah, at Pimentel.Jesse.
For Instagram and for Twitter, I believe.
Smart man.
AJ, you still have social media?
Keep it simple.
Yeah, Twitter is just at Dreamfall71. I made it simple.
Okay.
Instagram is there. I just don't remember what it is. It's probably Dreamfall72 because 71 was taken.
Next best one. I don't have anything, guys. So BTF will have a social media presence eventually, but it's not really at the top of my list right now.
It's coming.
Whatever.
Yeah, it'll be
coming,
there.
and it'll be great.
Maybe by the time we officially launch everything back in the next probably couple weeks here, maybe we'll have something by then. But we will have more content coming. We were talking about starting up Twitch, doing some live streams on there or on here, bringing on awesome people like Sarah to come and hang out, play some video games, and just keep talking because there's stuff we still need to talk about. But outside of that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on again.
Thank
I love you so
I
much.
loved it. I had the best time.
Jesse,
thanks,
you're awesome.
Sarah.
Thank you for co-hosting with me. And AJ,
anytime.
Welcome back, JJ.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Welcome back, AJ.
All right. Well, outside of that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends, drop a comment, and we will see you here next time at BTF Podcast.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.